Hey y'all, Sam at Forestry Suppliers. Today we're going to talk about the SureSeal double bottom drip torch. We sell a bunch of these and we get a lot of questions on them. So today, excuse me, we're going to go from the box, we're going to go through the parts, we're going to go through operation, how to set one up, and what fuel mixes to use. We're going to go through some maintenance and repair. So hopefully at the end of this video you'll have a good working knowledge of how to run a drip torch. So you order a drip torch from Forestry Suppliers and this is what's going to show up. The first question we get is, why are there two colors? You got a silver and a red. Well, the red meets US Forest Service specifications, so if you're doing any kind of government work, you're probably going to want the red one. If you're just a landowner not doing any government work, the silver one is fine. Parts are identical. Everything is interchangeable between the two models. Like I said, the only difference between them is the paint job. So let's get started on the parts. So when these things are shipped, this is called your discharge plug. Your discharge plug is in the operation position. So to set this up, all you do is take your lock ring off and pull your spout out and put it on the tank like such. And let's go through the parts right quick. So starting here, you've got your wick, and this is going to be your most replaced part. We get the question a lot, well, how often do I have to replace it? Well, that depends on how often it's used. If you're only using this a couple times a season, you may get several years out of this, but if this thing is getting used daily during burn season, you may have to replace this once or twice a year. So it just kind of depends on how often you use it. Next, you've got the nozzle here. You've got your spout with fuel trap, and then you've got your cap. And inside this cap, you've got a check ball. There's a set screw, and there's a screen right here to keep trash out of your spout and clogging up your nozzle. To set this up, take your cap and set it on there, and you want to make sure that your fuel trap is pointed away from your handle, and you would take this lock ring and tighten it down. And we get the question, well, how tight does it need to be? It needs to be snug. You don't want to be able to turn it like that, so I need to tighten it up just a little bit more, and I should be good there. Fuel mixes. We get that question a lot. Well, what kind of fuel mix should I use? A 3-to-1, and that's 3 parts diesel, 1 part gasoline, typically is all you're going to need. If you find that that's not hot enough for you, you can go to like a 3-to-2 or a 2-to-1, and the big number is always diesel, and the small number is going to be your gas mix. But to fill it, simply pour it in there. To set it up, put your cap on, snug your ring down, and this is your vent valve right here. And what this does is this allows air to get in the tank. And another common question we get is, well, how full should I fill it? And typically 2/3 to 3/4 is going to be adequate. You don't want to fill it up all the way, because when you tip it, there's not going to be enough air back here for this thing to drip like it should. So we don't recommend filling them up all the way. But once you've done that, you're ready to light it off. You got your fuel in the tank. Tip it and wet your wick enough where it's running off. And once that's done, take your lighter and light this off. Now these fresh wicks, they can be a little frustrating to light off, but once they get a good burn on them, a good char on them, they typically burn better. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but the more these are used, the easier they are to light. And when you're done burning, what do you do then? Well, your wick's lit, you're done for the day. Well, how do you get your wick out? Well, you've got a couple options. The first option is to do nothing. You can just set the tank down, and typically it's going to burn out in about 5 minutes. The next option is to take a leather glove, and I'm right-handed, so I take my left glove, and you can take it and you can snuff it out like such. The least recommended way, and we don't recommend you do it, is to blow it out. It does work, but you run the risk of burning your face. This cup right here will hold fuel, so if there's any fuel in there and you're blowing on it, you run the risk of it blowing back on you. It is an option, we don't recommend it. So now the tank is out, or the wick is out, and it's time to go home. What do you do with it? You've got a couple options. On your cap, your discharge plug here has got 2 positions. It's shipped with it in what we call the burn position, where it's just over here. You can see the screen right here. If you see the screen, that is the burn position. If it's time to go home, time to transport it, take your discharge plug and move it over and cover the screen, and that torch will not leak now. So you can do one or two things to transport it. If you're going to be burning in the near future, you can transport it like this. Just put your lock ring back on, or you can take it and you can put it in the tank. If you do that, be sure that your wick is cool, you know, to the touch. You don't want to put a hot wick in your tank for obvious reasons. And tighten your lock ring back down, and that torch is ready for transport.